G'day fellas and welcome to a very special casted game. Spawning in on the north side of the map, or I guess you could say the west side, playing the Mongols. It is the one, the only, TheViper. And he has got an absolutely beautiful spawn. Take a look at this spawn. He's got a gold mine right next to the town center. He's got his wood line perfectly, and the berries in the back. He's going to be a happy camper. Uvu a little bit far away. Looks like he's done a little bit of sheep trading here in the middle of the map, but managed to make his way out with one sheep so far. This is part of Golden League. This is a best of 3. We are in the knockout rounds, so that means that if you lose this series, you are out, Mr. Viper. And on the other side of the map, we have got spawning in on the east. In the color red, it is B. So we have got indeed the B versus the Viper. The Viper. We've got bees versus snakes right now, and a very interesting opening we're going to be having now. Pasture going to be coming out from B. We actually saw this game a little bit earlier today, or at least this matchup a little bit earlier today. This is, of course, Dry Arabia, so players in this game or in this series have got one ban available to them. They've opted to ban out the Delhi, and it's left the Mongols on the board, and both of them have picked it up here. So B going to be very happy with his pasture close to his base. Viper on the other side also going to be dropping down that pasture, but obviously it is quite far away from his Uvu, which means that it's going to take a little bit longer to respawn those sheep. But I would also like to mention the fact that this is currently the UI that you guys are seeing. It is actually taken from Lidicor's stream, so I don't actually have access to this UI just yet. What I'm doing a little bit of a I'm doing a bit of a sneaky one right here. I'm actually taking the stream and I'm putting it onto the screen in 3 parts. So you've got the first part over here, the second part here, and the third part down here. And I've made it so that those are all very specifically cut so that it hits those, all those important spots. And it means that when we go into cinematic mode, when we start to look for a fight or a fight happens, I'm going to be hitting this button right here, and it's going to be vanishing away all of the UI, and then I'm going to be bringing it back here. And the reason why is because if I don't, it's going to look really weird to you guys, because Lidicor is going to be doing that same thing when he is watching his perspective, and because we're taking part of the screen, and we're taking whatever is in this section of the screen, and we're showing you guys that, little sheep going to get taken out already. Poor little fella, look at him. Just going to get taken out. He's actually going to get taken out on B's side here. B might be able to pick it up. He'll be a happy camper. But yeah, it can look a little bit weird, a little bit funky. So it's, yeah, I apologize if it's scuffed. But yes, it will definitely be very scuffed. Viper, interestingly, leaving a gap of 1 tile in between the pastures as well as the side of his town center. Very tactically, I suspect, just to make sure that there are enough room for the villagers to come in and gather up this sheep. Now, Viper going to be looking to age up shortly. Double pasture opening for him. Double pasture opening as well for his opponent. We'll talk a little bit about this matchup and about how important it is to be researching certain technologies. So one of the technologies that is really going to be pivotal in this game is going to be improved siege engineering. And the series that we saw earlier, if you didn't catch that one, I apologize for spoiling it, but Marine Lord was victorious, and he actually took out Wham. They played a Mongol mirror, and Marine Lord looked to pressure the Uvu, which was in the exact same spot for Viper right now. And as a result, it meant that he wasn't able to get access to a lot of those technologies, and subsequently lost the game because his enemy did have access to those technologies. So we'll look to see how B actually plays. Now, the difference between these two guys is B's had to add in a Gur, whereas his opponent, Viper, hasn't had to, because he's had a pretty close spawn on the gold vein. But the one difference is he's going to be having a little bit better of a food income because that Uvu much closer. If I had to choose between, would I want my gold mine close or would I want my stone mine close? Oh, it's tough. It really is tough. Can I choose both? Can I choose both? It's such a difficult thing, because I was going to say I'd prefer to have my Uvu close, but then I see the Khan attacking the villagers and I'm like, no, I don't want my gold mine out here. This is just so typically Mongol, isn't it? But Viper now going to be aging up, and probably going to be up at about 505, judging by the looks of it. As soon as he's up, he's going to be looking to get that Khan out there. Going to be dropping that attack speed arrow. You watch it now as it's coming through. It's got not too long before he gets up to that next stage, but I think one of the big things here is probably going to be the impact of the Springalds. That's not Springalds as in the artillery or the siege. That is actually going to be the Springalds in regard to the outposts. So Springald emplacements very, very strong. And you can see Viper just really focusing down these villages, just being so annoying. But at the same time, B going to be substituting villages out. Khan going to be coming back now from his opponent. B going to be getting up to the feudal age as well. I suspect we're probably going to be seeing the attack speed arrow come out from B here, but no villagers from Viper going to be needing to leave this area for the next 37 minutes. It is a very typical Mongol economy. Villager actually going down here. It's down to 22 health, less than half. But Viper going to be leaving his scouting falcon and just hanging out in the air, and Outpost going to be coming down here on the gold mine. So smart moves coming out from B already. Now, Mongol mirrors, I know a lot of you guys will be rolling your eyes to be watching a Mongol mirror, and look, I'm there with you guys, but it can be quite an active mirror, depending on what strategies players opt for. Now, Viper dropping down the archery range on the Uvu indicates that he could be going for Mangadai, but at the same time, he scouted out his enemy, and he's seen that there is nothing happening with regard to the Uvu from his enemy. So, if he looks to apply pressure, with, say, Mangadai, he's just going to be behind because he can make Mangadai, but it's going to cost him an extra 120 food. It's going to cost him an extra 40 gold before he's able to reach that castle age. So does he want to do that? Is it worth doing? I don't know. But we'll see how he looks to play it. Still actually now going to be going into it. So he thinks it's definitely worth it. We'll check out exactly what's happening for B on his side of the map. He is definitely intent on getting up to that next stage. Going to be researching that arrow slit technology. So bringing in a little bit of the stone and putting it into the arrow slit. So not a bad move there. Going to extend the range out and going to make it a little bit easier to take out those mangonels. But B's obviously scouted out the archery range on the Uvu. Knows that there is a potential threat of Mangadai, and decides it's best to be safe than sorry. So definitely a wise decision from B. So I think the late game of this, or the way that this game is probably going to be played out, it's going to be a lot of men-at-arms, a lot of crossbows, at least I would expect a lot of men-at-arms, a lot of crossbows. It might not be, and a lot of siege. So you will see mangonels, you will see Springalds, you will see trebuchets, and you will see a huge amount of outposts. And it's going to kind of look almost like trench warfare. Players probably going to be opting for a second town center at some point as well, just because the trench warfare really starts to build up. And you can see Viper already starting to dig the trenches in the middle of the map. So he is looking to dig himself in. He's found out a nice little spot there in the stealth forest, and now going to be extending out that yam out towards this position. But his main focus, I suspect, is going to be those Springled emplacements, and now we do see Step Redoubt coming in for 3DB. So going up with 7 villages here, it's going to take quite a while before he's up, but actually dropping down a stable in this situation. So not something that I would expect. Normally I would have expected that you would have seen infantry-based composition out of these guys, but perhaps the Mangadai opening has triggered off something in him where he just wants to get out, some horsemen or something just to be safe. But we'll check from his perspective. You can see not a lot of military out. In fact, no military out for him yet. But does have the capacity to drop down. We do indeed see early horsemen coming out. So, yeah, I suspect this is just going to be looking to try and control the Mangadai push that will come through. And Viper, once again, trying to extend out that trench, really start to begin building towards his enemy base. And that's a smart thing. The closer you can get that trench towards your enemy base, the better, because the trebuchets are going to be able to be underneath there. And it's just going to make it much easier for you. You're going to have that yam a little bit closer to their base as well. But now 3DB playing somewhat blind at this point in time. Viper's Khan's actually quite low on health. You can see it's down to 24 out of 115. Villager nowhere to be seen in the middle of the map. Mangadai is wrapping around. Horseman going to be here as well. And Viper actually going to be losing his Khan. I suspect it's going to be going down. You can see that actually Viper manages to keep it alive. At the same time, Viper aging up. You can see the Step It Out going to be coming up for him as well on that gold mine. But beautiful little spot he's got right here with the 2 gold mines right next to each other, and Khan going to be going down here for poor Viper. You can see that B's doing such a great job as well of chasing it down and manages to put up the Scouting Falcon down and going to be able to take that one out. That is all she wrote. Viper losing out the Khan early. Down she goes. Little victory coming through there for his opponent. So B now going to be looking to focus on dropping down a monastery or a prayer tent here. So interesting that he is looking to do that. Step It Out getting adjusted a little bit closer to the gold mine just to help out with the gathering. We'll check back with Viper, see what he's doing. Doesn't look like we've got a monastery out just yet from him, but we do indeed have that blacksmith. So this is what we were talking about earlier with regard to the way that players look to play this. Typically, infantry-based is the way to go, but now Villager going to get caught out here with its pants down. You can see just how quickly that Villager is going to be going down. Magadai actually just doing a bit of a run by. Lance is also going to be coming out. Lance is going to be, well, Magadai got to be careful. Almost getting baited back in, so big mistake coming out from those Magadai losing their lives like that. They could have easily taken out that Villager if they were paying attention. Unfortunately, they weren't, and they lose their lives as a result. Now B going to be pushing out, looking for villagers. Not a lot he's going to be able to find, though, unfortunately. Outpost going to be coming up on the step redoubt as well. Town Center's still sitting very safely underneath the, or sitting safely in between all those resources, but now those Lancers, you can see them with their spears out, looking to get some stabbing, or their Lancers out, rather. Yeah, Viper just teeing off towards those. A lot of damage, or not a lot of arrows, but not a lot of damage. And now Crossbow's actually coming out from Viper, getting chased down by Lancers, and I love the fact that we are seeing difference in approaches with regard to this. At the same time, attack back towards the base of Viper. He manages to secure up these units, gets them and enables them, or stays inside, and we do see the Springwood outpost coming out. So this is something that we talked about. Now, I suspect that we are going to be seeing a trench that starts to slowly build, whether we see an outpost get dropped down by right here from Viper, and then look to try and secure up these positions. But keep in mind, behind this, B is looking to invest in his economy. His research wheelbarrow. He's already getting out the shamans. You can see the first one going to be coming out down towards this southern position. He does spot out this relic. He spotted out a couple of other relics on the map, yet to spot this one. Sees the one in the middle of the map, gets this one as well, and also going to get that one. So spots 4 out of 5 for the moment. On Viper's side, I think he spots all of the same ones as well. But a little bit of a raid coming through. Spear's doing a great job of just holding on at this point in time. Villager's going to be evacuating. Crossbow's doing a decent job. Springwood in placement. Going to be looking to tee off towards this position at the same time. Lancer's doing a great job. No upgrades yet coming through from the blacksmith. And you can hear that Springwood just firing off, doing so much work. And Viper doing a great little hold there. Now Crossbow's going to be coming in on the back line as well. Going to be able to pick up this Lancer. And a huge amount of damage gets done already by Viper. Now keep in mind, siege engineering is already through. Improved siege engineering is already through for Viper. So he can be looking to add in trebuchets. He can look to add in any of these potential siege units whenever he so pleases. Outpost going to be coming down here. No actual emplacement coming through just yet. Now, the way that he's going to have to clear this is through a trebuchet himself. So I wouldn't be surprised to protect the trebuchet, which he will inevitably make. He looks to outpost up. I mentioned earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if this is where he opts to go for, or somewhere around here. Maybe even in the middle here. He's got a pretty decent mass, but he's going to need to stay back from that enemy outpost. There's so much damage that comes out from it. But now back in the base of B, we see that the engineering, or the blacksmith, has been placed down. He's got +1 ranged armor that has come through for these lancers. But now Viper going to be looking to push forward. You can see that outpost just sitting there in the forest, and there is the trebuchet that's coming out. So Viper definitely demonstrating his prowess when it comes to his knowledge in this matchup. And I got to admit, I love the way that he's playing it. I think this is the perfect way to be playing the Mongol matchup. But we'll take a look from Viper's perspective and see exactly what he does. And you can see this is why it's so difficult to deal with these outposts. Trebuchet actually moving forward, going to be looking to fire down or take down that outpost. But now the Knight's actually going to get taken out. Rather, the Lancer's taken out. Springwood in placement, doing so much damage. And Viper working his way towards this position. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him head up towards this top side as well. But I would expect villagers probably going to be coming out. Where are the villagers? No, only a shaman at this point in time. I wouldn't be surprised to see villagers come out and look to add this in. But now, Trebuchet response going to be coming out from B here. Has got that improved siege engineering? No, he's gone for a siege workshop here. Very interesting. I guess he doesn't have a lot of infantry, so his thinking behind it is, I'm not going to be making any infantry, so I'm not going to need to research that technology, and I'm not going to need to make infantry for it. But now a bit of a raid, or rather an outpost that does go up. Springwood in placement going to be spotting it. And now towards the back of the base, we've got the Khan that's focusing off. Viper moving in towards the front line here. He wants to try and take out this outpost before it gets up. Going to be able to get in underneath. Managing to connect with the Lancer here. Lancer's probably going to be able to stay alive barely, but it turns around and decides to come back in. Viper doing a decent job. Mangonel also coming out now. Springwood going to be coming out for the Viper, and he is looking very, very strong. At the same time, the Traction Trebuchet continues to unfold on this position. There she goes. She's sieging down right now. And Viper, you got to wake up, my friend. Mangonel going to get taken down to 128 health. At the same time, Lancer going to be running out. Bit of a raid back towards the base. It's not even a raid. It's just a Mangonel, or it's just a Khan rather. But it looks like the Knight going to be able to clean up the Shaman before the Shaman's able to actually pick up the relic. So very nice use of that. But if we take a look from B's perspective, B is slowly but steadily moving over the map. He's starting to take control. He's got Shamans out. Looks like the outpost still yet to get that Springwood emplacement in, but he is going to be losing this gold mine on the front. He's going to have to resort to heading towards the back. You can see the step redoubt now coming over towards this position. Also dropping an outpost on it. This is absolutely hilarious, the way that these guys have to use their outposts to defend. And now Khan going to be going down up the top. Khan loses its life to the veteran spearman. So Viper definitely happy with that trade, that's for sure. But now another Springwood emplacement going to be coming down here, and B going to get siege down on the front line. Springwood's moving out towards this traction trebuchet. Springwood's Springwood's coming out now, and now we see Viper moving up with these outposts. As I mentioned earlier in the game, it's great to see that, you know, this is to all those people that are like, oh, you know what, there's this one guy on Reddit, I can't remember his name starts with a C, and every single time somebody mentions me, this guy like just actively comes in and he's like, oh, Jongo's fucking trash, he's got no idea what he's fucking talking about. Like, crypt something? I don't know exactly. Something graph, something like that. Anyway, like, I'm just glad that I've sort of called out what I thought would happen, and Viper's actually done exactly that. And I think this is 100% the best way to be playing Mongols in this mirror. It's so difficult to deal with in a situation like this. Viper's still yet to really gather much map control, but he is pushing forward incredibly strong. But now that traction trebuchet going to be going down. You can see the Springwoods actually managing to do a great job there, but loses one of the Springwoods. I don't know exactly where that came from. I have no idea how he lost that. Did the Treb actually kill the traction trebuchet? I'm not sure exactly what happened there. And now Spears are going to be able to clean up that Lancer. You can see the crossbows trying to survive, but unfortunately going to be losing their life. Lancer manages to get away. Springwood in placement. Firing off towards the Lancers. Lancers going to be losing a fair bit of their life, and now second Trebuchet going to be coming out. Viper slowly pushing in, loses his Khan as well in this situation, but he is looking very strong here and just doing such a great job. You can really see the trench warfare beginning. Viper doing what he does best and taking his Mongol play to the next level here. I'm just so impressed with the way that he's doing it, completely ignoring the Springwoods of his enemy. He is just, you know, he's focusing in. 3DB is, you know, up towards this north position. You can see he's got outposts out. Look at this little bit of a misplay coming out now with the Knights actually just coming out and going to be tanking up a whole bunch of damage. 3DB not looking the best right now. Springwood actually gets taken out, and Viper still looking very strong on the front. All of these villages, or I say all of these villages, there's 2 villages here, going to be able to repair these siege units as well. So keep that in mind. Villager going to be jumping inside, more Springwood emplacements coming through, and I think we can well and truly establish right now that outposts are probably a little bit too strong. Mangonel looked to unfold. What happened right there? Mangonel didn't get it shot off and unpacked, and then immediately looked to try and do some damage. Maybe it had focused down on those deer stones, but Viper has definitely had like a push through the center, whereas B on the other side has gone out to the edges. B's tried to take control of the sides of the map, and I would almost say that he's been punished for it, because Viper is just continuing to push in with this death push, and he is slowly but steadily whittling down his enemy. I don't think there's any real way that B is able to recover from this. I mean, I say that, but you know, it's a classic Drongo style. Deerstone's just going down. You can see he's moving back all of his buildings on the on this side. Deerstone's going to be actually going down, though. These Trebs doing a huge amount of damage to it, and Deerstone's going to be losing their life, so going to have to pack that one up, send that one home. Indeed, they do go down. But we hear more relics being picked up all around the map. Viper finally picking up that one that was being guarded by the Knight. Reinforcements getting picked up in the middle of the map here. Viper may turn his attention towards that outpost because it is actively picking up reinforcements. Villager losing its life as well. Now we're talking. Now we're getting serious. You can take my crossbow's life, but you should never take my villager's life. Viper's still just quite keen to ignore this outpost. So this outpost is going to be doing a great job, already picking up 3 units, so getting its values back. You know, when you think about it, it's 100 resources for an outpost, and then 125 for the Springwood emplacement, plus I think it's like 50. So it works out to be like a pretty small amount. But nice little micro coming out here from Viper. Viper going to be able to hold that Springwood advantage in this situation. At the same time, we see that the mass is really starting to build for him. He's up to 23 spears at this point in time. Viper with a large mass here, and now players going to be looking to battle it out in the middle of the map as we enter into the cinematic mode. Viper going to be trying to hold on. You can see that the units here, Mangonel's just going to be coming out in force. Look at how well they're doing. Spears just staying alive and just preventing any of those cavalry units from coming in. You can see them up towards the top now, and at the same time, look at this. Just the push just keeps on coming right now, and beautiful kiting coming through. At the same time, Viper sitting on the back line now, going to be looking to focus down the town center. Town center definitely going to have to be thinking about packing up and moving on to the next potential position. I think that's probably a wise point at this point in time. But B still looking to try and hold on. The village account at the moment 55 up against 62 from Viper. But Viper definitely coming in for a oh god, that ain't pretty. That ain't pretty. But Viper's trench slowly moving forward. You can see he's digging new trenches or new front here. 3 trebuchets now coming out for him. And looking to focus down that town center. Now, keep in mind, that'll mean that if he does take that out, there's only 1 landmark that's actually remaining in this situation. So, B gonna have to be careful here. You can see, is he repairing that town center? I don't think he's actually repairing the town center either. So, Viper is looking quite decent in this position. But town center now going to be under attack. He's going to be pulling villagers to repair it. He manages to keep it there for as long as possible. But now you can see that the next frontier is beginning to open up. Viper with a huge amount of siege here. 4 Springalds, 4 Trebuchets, just 2 Mangonels, but that's all he needs. And now capturing those sacred sites behind it. He's still got these outposts out on the edges of the map to deal with, but at the same time, looks like he has cleaned up this one that was... Where was it? Right there. And look at this, cleaning up the next one. So moving forward with more trebuchets. And Viper just playing this so methodically, so slowly, but at the same time just doing such a wonderful push. I absolutely love it. The fact that he's able to keep these... you've got to be careful, actually. I think that outpost might be able to take out these villagers. It's firing down on the outpost itself. It could be firing on the villagers, though, if it wanted to. But, yeah, going to be turning its attention now. The trebuchet is continuing to unpack towards the base of his enemy. And let's take a look back towards Viper. Yeah, he's bringing in that 5th trebuchet now. So Viper now looking to... He actually loses his villagers on the front line. And now 5 trebuchets going to be coming out in total. But look at the Springald count. We can see that it looks like his enemies had to resort to improved siege engineering. There's no way to actually tell. Actually, no, there is a way to tell. You can see he's doing a bit of a dance. But now we've got our battle beginning to unfold. Springald's trading it out with Mangonels. At the same time, units moving up to the front line. Viper going to be looking to come in. Trebuchet's doing such a decent job here of firing off towards this position. More Springalds coming through. And now we look to be entering into the next battle phase as villagers still coming out. Yet to really come into this position and heal up. Now looking to try and trade out. Managing to actually take out the Mangonels here. And now we can see that the trebuchets on the backline just still continuing to unfold. Viper struggling with this mass coming out from his enemy. At the same time, it looks like a wolf down towards the south. Going to be picking a fight with a veteran archer. And let me tell you, you can pick a fight with an archer just to make sure he's a veteran, because a veteran, he's going to smack you real good. But a distinct lack of units coming out here for the Viper at this point in time, or at least a lack of Springalds. Ideally, you'd like to see a bit more. He's got plenty of resources in the bank and could be spending it on that, but so many Springalds coming back here for his opponent. Trebuchet is continuing to unfold and unpack towards that siege workshop. Sacred Site gets neutralized down towards the south. Viper, unfortunately, going to be losing out his units here. Mangonel unfolding, but yeah, still able to hold on with this outpost in the position in the middle. Going to be moving back with these trebuchets, otherwise we'll potentially lose them to the Springalds. Trebs firing down upon the siege of its enemy. And Mangonel going to be taken out. Viper, once again, I mean, this is just absolute siege wars. Like, Viper is quite literally, like, if we look right here, like, it is just absolute siege wars coming out. Like, he is on the trench. This is trench warfare, 100%. There's no two ways about it. This is Viper's trench warfare right here. But now a little bit of a lull in the action. We'll take a look at B. And I think the question is, what can B really look to do to get back into this? He's down 10 vills. When it comes to his military population, he's down about 20 military population. The main thing is obviously the trebuchet difference between these two players. And you can see Viper's done a great job of just cleaning up the base of B. B has made his way all the way back into the corner here. And yeah, he's just not looking that sweet, is he? I mean, at this point, I really don't know what he can do. Maybe a potential horseman. See, the thing is, you can't even really play horseman into this just because of the spear numbers coming out from Viper. Viper going very heavily on the spears. But now we hear more relics being safely brought back to this position on the back line. Viper continuing to try and take out more and more of these units. Khan going to be coming in here as well. We'll take a look over at Viper's base and see how he's doing, actually. Doing a bit of market trading. He's got 3 relics himself, so he's pretty happy. And now just chills out. I mean, the trench is right here, and he's going to be very happy. If we take a look, you know what? I'm tempted to take a look at the score right now, but I know you guys aren't going to be able to see it. I would be able to see it, but you guys wouldn't be able to. But I would suspect Viper is significantly ahead of his enemy at this point in time, just because of the outposts that are up. He's got so many outposts that are up across the map that have got these Springled emplacements in them as well. that are just so difficult to deal with. So, I mean, I hope this is a lesson to the, or not a lesson, but an exhibition to the developers on springled emplacements in Outpost, because we did nerf springleds, but we didn't nerf springled emplacements. So springled emplacements still do a lot of damage, but now Viper looking to move in. You can see the trebuchet is actually unfolding, unpacking on the back line as the fight now begins to happen, and Viper definitely going to be looking to try and take control. You can see the springled count for him is so high, looking to trade out that siege on the enemy backline and just cleaning it up completely. Just absolute destruction coming out from the Viper, and I suspect he's going to be taking game 1 here. He has cleaned up the army of his enemy. He's cleaned up the siege of his enemy. Springleds on the back line just continue to exist. Villagers going to get pulled here. They've got their axes out. Watch out, ladies and gentlemen. They are going to be cutting through this siege here. Viper needs to fall back towards his outpost. He's left the trench a little bit open at this point, and now manages to make his way back. He's got that Yam network going to be providing that little bonus to him with the siege, but at the same, look how fast the siege is going. The villagers just going to be doing their best at 1.49 movement speed. Villagers all going to be going down in this position. You can see that his B is just losing so many. He's currently sitting on 59 villagers, and now it looks like the units are going to be turning around, or the springleds are going to be turning around, and B definitely realizes that at this point in the game, there's not too much more that he can actually do. He's outmassed, he's outgunned, he's out-economied, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 1 of this series is over. The Viper is victorious. 3DB needs to win 2 more games to come back into it. And an impressive display of skill coming out there from Viper. So just very methodical. That was the trench warfare that we expected to see from him. However, B didn't look to do that. B didn't look to emulate that. He made the mistake of going into the stable. He made the mistake of going into Lancers. And obviously, it looked good in the beginning of the game, but Viper had all of those 3 resources under his town center very safely. There wasn't too much that B could do in response to that. He tried his best to raid, but Viper was able to keep his head above water, and as a result, it meant that that B, unfortunately, fell down. So there you guys go. I'm going to leave a link in the description to where you can watch more Golden League, because there is Golden League happening next weekend, the weekend after, and the weekend after. I want you guys to be there. I want you guys to be there or be square. So go check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Game number 2 is going to be the very next video on this channel.